Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Southbound Real Estate Shawn Jones Show, where we cover everything on Rebel Hill with the South Green Rebel football team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Shawn Jones. Coach, how are we doing this week?
Doing great, doing good. Short week, so we're excited.
It is a short week. You're coming off of that bye week too. Got to rest up a little bit, heal any injuries that you had from the opening week game against Crockett. Talk to me about that bye week. You were able to work on yourself a little bit. Able to relax a little bit also, I'm assuming, when you come off of a big win like that and then come into your first region game with Cumberland Gap. So how cool was that to kind of get that week to relax?
Well, it was really a tough week. It was hot last week trying to practice. We got practice in, but we had a little bit of sickness throughout the week with the team, and then I got pretty sick on Friday, so kind of went around. But we feel like we're better this week, and the weather kind of chilled out this week. So it was a good week to kind of get going. You hate to do it week two, because you come off that big win and you like to keep your momentum going, but it's just the way the schedule worked out. So we'll take it and get rested up, and go 9 more straight weeks here in the regular season. Then hopefully we can go a few more after that.
The weather kind of flipped from last week too. Last week it was really hot. This week I don't know if we're going to be able to escape the rain any day.
It looks like it got out of here yesterday. So it looks like it's going to be good. I was worried about the hurricane coming in, getting too close to us for tomorrow night's game. It looks like it's going to be a good game, and it ain't going to be real hot and humid, so we'll be ready to go.
And this past Friday night, too, I know you had the night off, and I know you said you were sick, but did you send any coaches out to scout anybody?
I had a couple went and watched Chucky Dokos. It was a local game, and that was it. Cumberland Gap was up in Virginia, so we didn't go watch them, and conference game Hampton was up at Johnson County, so we try to getting Granger and Chucky Dokos, 2 teams who play Chucky Dokos next week, so we was able to go watch them a little bit, and so get some coaches out. But yeah, that's what we like to do, is like go see somebody local that we're going to play. But today with the film that you get, not like it used to be where you had to go watch on your off weeks. We still like to, so we can get out and see what's going on live with some of these teams.
This past Friday night was one of the wackiest Friday nights I've ever seen. I don't know if you kept up with much of it.
Yeah, I was there at the house paying attention with the weather and stuff and all the games. I know me and Coach Hosey was talking a few years ago. We was down at Granger, and I think we kicked off at 10:30, so everybody was talking about being out late. We actually kicked the game off at 10:30, and we were like, me and Coach Hosey like, we ain't come back tomorrow. We're going to finish it. So I thought it was unique the way they had no contest. Some was a contest, and but that's just the way. Learn a little bit about that this week. If you probably need to try to get the game in if you can at all possible, and otherwise it's going to be a no contest. So that's some future reference there. And I know a lot of them was non-conference games. That's why some of that stuff went on. But I'm sure most of them would be conference game, and we went back that next day and finished it up. But very unique situation last week, and I'm glad we was kind of out of it. That way we didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago when I was in high school, there was a game that started on homecoming night. We had to move homecoming into the gym, and they didn't start the game until around 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
I've seen it happen before, and I can't remember if that was a conference game or not, but it's crazy whenever you play games that late because a lot of people, including myself, go home.
Yeah, that's what happens, but we're going to stay all night if we have to. That's just the way as coaches are, and I know it's tough on the kids and the fans and stuff, but you need to try to get in if you can at all possible with that, and staying within the safety of all that stuff. So like down at Cott County, I think they had some problems with the field, and but if you got turf, there's probably no reason that you can't get a game in unless you just it just keeps going and stuff. And I think about Kingsport where Green was at, I think it just kind of got over and just set.
Lightning was the main thing up there.
The way it was is just and that does that sometimes at certain places. I was listening to Chucky Doke game, and they were able to get that in, saying it's coming from Marshtown. There was a different cell coming, so I guess it was just depending on where it was coming from and all that different stuff, and it kind of all hit there right there together. But unique situation. We didn't have to deal with it, so good that everybody else did, I guess.
Hopefully it'll be sunny this Thursday night too. Kind of weird you get that short week too. You usually do get that short week every year during Labor Day weekend. Is that kind of the week that you dislike the most, having to cram everything into 3 days and prepare? But I know this year you kind of got that extra week on the bye to prepare.
Well, that was good this year. I'll tell you the week I hate the most is when we're on fall break because just getting the kids up, and we're going to play on fall break. And again, I didn't realize I may have missed the email. One thing TWSAA done when they set your schedule for you, your conference schedule, they gave you the option to pick which off week you'd like to have, and I just don't remember getting it. So most teams I think across the state got either 8 or 9 based on their fall break. So after this 2-year rotation, if that's still available, we'll probably do that. It's just tough playing. I mean, we don't care to play when we're off. It's just tough getting them, trying to get them here. We try to practice early in the morning. So that's the week I hate the most. But having last week to prepare for Cumberland Gap, having this short week, we did have a JV game Monday night, so it would have been tough if we didn't have last week. But it's worked out, and it's going to be fine. It's just pretty much like any other week with a few extra days of practice because of last week.
You're talking about the JV game too. We usually talk about high school athletics on here. Let's talk about middle school. What a game that was Thursday night.
Yeah, I had a good game here. With West Green and South Green, and it was a good game. It looked like South Green was getting ready to score to go up 21-0. They turnover downs or fumbled, and West Green come back and missed a 2-point conversion to tie it. So it was a real good middle school game, a good community game. Had a big crowd here. So it's real good to see these programs getting middle schools now and trying to build their programs here in the county. The city's had their middle school forever, so for years we wanted that to get one team to try to get better. So it was a good community game that they had up here last Thursday night.
Packed house, and it was probably the most exciting middle school game I've ever watched. More exciting than a lot of high school games.
Yeah, it was a real good game.
It's good when they come down to the wire like that. But per usual on a bye week, we don't have much to talk about, so that's all we've got on the recap here. We kind of talked about Cumberland Gap a lot last week too, so we'll talk about that just a tiny bit in the second half. But before that, we need to go ahead and take a break first. So we'll be right back after these messages on Grassroots Media.
Pizza Inn offers contactless buffet to go with JoJo's Family Feast or anything on our menu for carryout. We also honor birthday parties and cater to businesses and large events. We make it easy. Call us today. Pizza Inn Greenville.
Tommy's Plumbing has provided professional plumbing services to the residents of Greenville, Tennessee for over 30 years. Our experience and reputation have helped us grow our business to add locations in Jonesboro, Tennessee. Tommy's Plumbing is local and family owned, and we offer a full line of plumbing services, such as kitchen faucet, shower faucets, commodes, and bathroom faucets, as well as drain cleaning. We also provide outside plumbing work, such as septic and sewer drain cleanouts, as well as repair and replace. Tommy's Plumbing pretty much does it all. Tommy's Plumbing is licensed, bonded, and insured. Our quality workmanship and passion to provide our clients with expert service is second to none. We guarantee we have the best warranty around. For all your plumbing needs, give Tommy's a call at 638-3662.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Southbound Real Estate Shawn Jones Show, where we cover everything on Rebel Hill with the Rebel football team. As always, I'm joined here with South Green head coach Shawn Jones. So, got Cumberland Gap this week. We had talked about that a little bit last week. It'll be your first region game coming up here on Thursday night. Talk about how exciting that is to play your first region game and to return back to Rebel Hill again in week 3.
Yeah, it's a big deal to get to play here at home, and you got to start out 1-0. If you want an opportunity to win the conference, you got to start out 1-0. It's more than not that you're not going to win the conference. You start out 0-1, so that's a big deal. Have Cumberland Gap come in, and they're a good disciplined football team. They got a coach that come out of Virginia. He's struggling to get numbers, struggling to get coaches, but let me tell you what, they play hard, and that's what you see. And I guess the frustrating thing is they can hold the football with the offense they run. And we've kind of been on Coach Burns this week. It looks like if they get a few breaks, you better daggone score every time you get the ball, because scoring could be a lot less this week, but hopefully we can get things going. We've had a good 2 weeks of practice preparing for Cumberland Gap, so we feel like we're prepared and ready to go.
I know we talked about last week how playing Cumberland Gap, you kind of have to play the possession game where you don't know how many possessions you'll get, and it won't be as many as you get in a normal football game. Do you kind of talk to your offense before the game and tell them to be a little more cautious?
Well, you talked about go out there and execute. It's all about execution. So if you execute and still go score, if you don't execute, that's where you get problems, and then you get frustrated. And that's the thing. I think it was 3 years ago. I missed the game when COVID was around, and I was texting back and forth. Everybody's like, we're doing fine, but they're just holding the ball forever. I think their first drive, they picked up 4 downs. Now we scored, I think, in 3 plays. But again, they get the ball back, went down the field, and it was like 14-0. Late in the second quarter, and it's just you feel like you're controlling the game, but it's very, very frustrating with that team. So in the last couple of years, we've had a few breaks and got a little bit bigger leads, and that's what you got to do. I mean, like I say, they're disciplined. They do well. You want to try to get them to throw the ball. I think they're trying to throw a little bit more this year, and that's what you want to kind of get them out of their comfort zone. And but again, we just got to execute and play good, sound technique football.
Speaking of that too, we had the Mark Wright show 2 years ago, whenever that happened.
that was it.
I think we need to have a Coach Case show sometime.
Well, I think we'll work on that. We'll get Coach Case in here. I may even get Coach Dye in here. I don't think I get Coach Burns in here, but I'll try to get some of those guys in here and see if I can get them on here and let them talk about the stuff they do, because they do. Us as coaches do a great job, and They make me who I am. So I think it'd be cool to get those guys in here. So we might try to get them in here next week if we can.
Who would be the most entertaining, or would they just be entertaining, just grouped into one show?
Those two be entertaining because one's a defensive guy, one's an offensive guy, and they kind of rib each other. So those two guys, I think, can get a lot out of them if I had both of them here together, Coach Dye and Coach Case.
We'll make it a setup one day. Instead of having 3 chairs like this, we'll have me in the middle, and we'll just have them face off and just debate.
That'd be good. I think
we'll just have a debate between offense.
We might could beat the James Buchanan show with that if we got those guys in here debating. I don't know.
That's tough to do.
Those two guys out in North Green's pretty good with what they do, but we might get a few more people watching if we had those two in here.
I think it'd be fun to have an offense and defensive debate, especially with Coach Case. He can get going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you know him personally, Joe can get going.
It might go longer because he might be here a while.
Hey, it's all right. We've had hour-plus shows before with James and Sam.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go as long as we need to, man. There's no cap on these. I know last week we kind of joked about it. I think off camera. I don't know if we joked about it on camera or not, but don't have much to talk about on a bye week. Previewed Cumberland Gap last week, but this week is the beginning of college football. I guess last week was technically week 0. But this week is week 1. I know you're a Vol fan. End of every episode, it's always go Vols, go Rebels, go Cowboys, not in that specific order. But it's not time for the NFL yet. We talk about Rebel football all the time. I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk about Vol football a little bit.
Well, what's cool about it, I guess besides getting married and your kids being born, these next 2 weekends are the best 2 weekends in the year. It's better than Christmas. It's better than your birthday. It's better than any holiday out there is starting a college and NFL game, So it's very exciting, It's been tough, the last few years to be a Vol fan, but, last year was really exciting. You get excited now to get up on Saturday and watch them. So real excited about that. Like I say, I'm a big Cowboys fan. Probably take some ribbon over that. So they'll get going next week. We're always going to win the Super Bowl every year. Us Cowboy fans think we're going to win it every year. But it's going to be interesting to see, what UT does after the season they had last year. Everybody's talking about were they pretenders, and you got Milton coming back. I think it's going to be really cool. We're excited to Saturday. Been invited to the lake. If I'm down there, I'm going to be watching football somewhere because college football is really the cool thing. Besides high school football, I think they go hand in hand, and really enjoy doing that.
Do you think Milton can lead the offense to a successful season?
Well, I think so. You look at the last 2 games he played last year. I know the hit on him when he first come to UT is he couldn't hit a wide receiver even if he was wide open. He had the cannon, but it looks like they work on his accuracy, and I think he'll be fine. He may not run as much as Hooker did, but I think he'll be fine. It'll just be interesting to see what happens. The big games is Georgia and Alabama. You got those 2 big games, and you don't want South Carolina to step on you in Florida this year. So if they could get by those 2 and then win one of the other 2, maybe both of them, I think they'll be in good shape. But we're excited about it, and just like Rebel football, I'm just a big football fan. Period. My wife told me all the time. Coach Burns and I, our office corner, we're good friends. We grew up together, and every time we're doing something and our wives are around, we're talking football, and it drives them nuts. Mainly my wife don't understand what we're talking about, and that's what she gets frustrated about. So, but just being a football fan, period, it's going to be enjoyable.
The schedule kind of worked in your favor last year, too, where you had Alabama at home and you had Florida at home this year. You've got both of those on the road this year. Do you think you can carry out business on the road against those 2 teams?
I don't know. I think it can with Florida, but Alabama's going to be tough.
Alabama's going to be tough.
They've got that circled, It'd be great to go down there. And I know 2 years ago they had a video on the sideline playing the song we played, Dixieland Delight, when they beat UT. And so I'm sure that'd be loud if that was to happen again this year. So that part's exciting, But like I said, football is just exciting to me all the way around, No matter if it's pee-wee, midgets, or middle school, whatever, we just enjoy watching good football, and that's what I do, and we enjoy watching it. I'm not going to critique coaches a lot because we're coaches. Everybody makes mistakes, so I try not to do that. Just watch it and enjoy it. And now I may scream and holler at the players on the TV when I'm there watching it, but other than that, that's what we do because we're fans. When we get on Saturday and Sunday, we're fans, but exciting time. Like I say, if you had a kid born, that's great. Got married, that's great. But they ain't nothing like college football and the pro football weekends.
All right, I think that's where we'll put a cap on it this week. Coach, appreciate you for joining me again this week. Cumberland Gap, 7 o'clock on Rebel Hill this Thursday night, not Friday night. So you'll see this air tonight. We're recording this just a few hours before it'll air here on Wednesday. So you'll see this tonight about 24 hours before kickoff time. So if you're watching this Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, Thursday at 6 o'clock, you've still got time. Go down to Rebel Hill, watch some good football. South Green will be hosting Cumberland Gap for their first Region 1 2A game of the season. But until next time, thank you for joining me again this week. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Southbound Real Estate Shawn Jones Show. Look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.
Go Rebels, go Vols, and Cowboys.